makavazi yetu hapa.
I hope the Kenyans will be proud of it. If you think you will be our star. Yo consider as I told you,
let me say how happy I am this afternoon. And Chair, Abaku is the first multi-purpose library in Kenya. It's part of what we promised Kenyans, open new avenues for our people to learn,
What is it reminding me of?
Tumpongeze kwa makofi yanayokuwa.
So Maktaba building was officially opened by...
For the blind, they can access the books in Braille. And for the totally blind, we have a talking computer. We have a talking computer with the disabilities across the counties. In our service provision, we embrace inclusion. For the physical handicapped, we have a wheelchair.
Your Excellency, welcome to the Braille Unit. Here we provide library and information services to the blind and the visually impaired.
well done.
And for the deaf, they require. Karibuni sana.
Asante sana. Nimeshukuru baba. Thank you mama. God bless you. Tumesema asante.
Karibuni tena.
Hongera sana.
Thank you so much.
Asante.
From preschool going to standard 8 only. When they toys, we all use them so that we can be better children, we can be better adults tomorrow.
Wonderful.
One who brought the Tamuko na CSE Amina Book Club, so we have a club.
Wonderful.
At this juncture,
And has she been faithful every Saturday?
very faithful. Not only there, we know what book is where. If you talk of mathematics, we have in class 500. If you talk of religion, we have in class 200. That is why librarianship is called a science. We are for us. It's very easy for us to access.
So, okay. Yeah.
What we got, the CS of education introduced with the CPC, they help them to be creative, they help them to have the reading and writing of owning a house.
Well done.
Yes.
What are you building today? Do you enjoy when daddy brings you? Yeah? Yeah? Oh, wonderful. And you have a nice time. What's he up to today?
He was given a job by a man he didn't know, and he was sorting out bread and putting it in packets. So he gobbled some up, and his money was deducted.
Well done. Are you enjoying it?
Yes.
Do you come here often?
Yes.
He's a regular? Yeah? How often do you come?
Many times.
Yeah? And you like coming here?
Yes.
And you enjoy it?
Yes.
Well done, my dear.
Your Excellency,
Well done.
I humbly request that you invite the book club members to State House. Let them.
I will do just that.
Thank you.
I will. Her next reading. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so
Our
much.
next reading we'll do together.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
It's about
Yes, her next one.
This one is the great shop.
This one?
This one is the...
Well done, my friend. Yeah?
Thank you.
But you enjoy it?
Yes.
Is there anything you look for that you don't find?
Everything is there.
Everything is there. Everything that you need, you find.
Yeah.
Yeah? Absolutely.
Yes.
To access.
Welcome, Your Excellency, sir.
Madam, how are you?
Fine, thank you, sir. This is the National Library. This is the National Library where we publish Kenya National Bibliography. We issue international standard book number. That is a number that is issued to publishers and others.
Yeah.
Those are among the duties that we do. These books in this National Library. This is about the missionary. It is 1980. It is Daily Nation, published in 1980. Yes, and yeah, that's Daily Nation. And
Review it.
yeah, the view is there. So this goes to other countries, and then also we publish our local magazines. We compile, so publish Kenya National Bibliography. This is a national bibliography. We started publishing from 1980. Yes, and this contains. And now we have them separately in another cross. But now these are other books published.
Asante sana. Naomba tukomeze sasa kukaribisha Mheshimiwa Rais. Tumkaribishe kwa makofi Mheshimiwa.
As I said, former chair, we have our Wonderjoy was our event organizer, and we also want to recognize them. And of course, we want to recognize
Tamaduni na Turathi za Kitaifa, Balozi Daktari Amina Mohamed.
Kenya Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, Tourism, the Honorable Senators that he designed, and then the shields and what they represented. And so maybe we'll give him a minute or two to do that.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Cabinet Secretary, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have classical architecture going to Your Excellency, when this this digital era, that was number one. A library in Africa that does not carry the theme sign is a billboard. And in a billboard, you are able to look at the structure and how do you have an African theme in a library of the future and you do not know what Excellency was to have a team of. As we are told, we want this project to give a more detailed report on this. Mr. Kariki.
Good afternoon. I just want to expound 1 minute that what we have designed here, Your Excellency, has been done and designed by Kenyans, constructed by Kenyans, and it means that, Your Excellency, Kenyans are capable. Let us give them a chance. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Yes, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the Kenyan
of the official opening of Maktaba Kuu, inamaanisha nyumba ya vitabu. Maktaba ni nyumba ya vitabu. Going through a transformative strategy in independence. Your Excellency, the building behind you, NLS. That's why we are going in a transformative on government or on treasury. Your Excellency, and are served by KNLS annually to patience and endurance of culture, sports, and
There you go.
So resuscitation happens here. And once you're resuscitated, stabilized, then you take you up to the general. Okay, so this is the first resuscitation. So we're going to take it up.
What you have. So in future, let's say post-COVID, this will be for what, like infectious diseases or?
But we wanted you to see that one specifically. So in this unit, we have everything onto the worst case scenario. So you can have all that.
Worst case scenario, this can
As I said, former chair, we have our Wonder Joy was our event organizer, and we also want to recognize them. And of course, we want to recognize
utamaduni na turathi za kitaifa, Balozi Daktari Amina Mohamed,
Kenya Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, tourism, the Honorable Senators that he designed, and the shields and what they represented. And so maybe we'll give him a minute or two to do that.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Cabinet Secretary, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have classical architecture going to Your Excellency, when this this digital era, that was number one. A library in Africa that does not carry the theme sign is a billboard. And in a billboard, you are able to look at the structure and how do you have an African theme in a library of the future and you do not know, Your Excellency, or to have a team of... As we're told, we worked this project to give a more detailed report on this. Mr. Kariki.
Good afternoon. I just want to expound 1 minute that what we have designed here, Your Excellency, has been done and designed by Kenyans, constructed by Kenyans, and it means that, Your Excellency, Kenyans are capable. Let us give them a chance. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Yes, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the Kenyan.
Dada, ujambo.
Makofi kwa Mheshimiwa Rais. Nitaomba sasa ataelekeza the reception and the information center.
How are you, madam?
I'm fine, Your Excellency. How are you?
I'm well.
Good.
Happy to be with you.
Your Excellency, your card.
He's being handed over the power to come and speak.
Thank you.
I'm happy to serve you very soon, Your Excellency.
You will be seeing me here very soon.
Well, most welcome, Your Excellency. So together with this, we have registered our CS, most program, and Hassan, Honorable Hassan. Yes. So 2 weeks at a cost of 20 shillings each book, Your Excellency. Borrowing of books is done at this end, together with return of books at the same end, Your Excellency. Again, this is basically what happens in the main information desk. Raymond is going to take you through our online e-resources, Your Excellency.
So, Your Excellency, apart from the physical books which we have in the library, we also have subscribed to online resources. So we have quite a number of online resources. So for example, this one's subscribed to online resources.
Yes.
Even Libya is here. In fact,
First find the result of the
so basically those are some of the resources, online resources, both open and subscribed resources.
Well done, my friend.
Thank you.
Your Excellency, the word Maktaba inamaanisha nyumba ya vitabu. Maktaba ni nyumba ya vitabu. Hey, Your Excellency, we in the KNLS are going through a transformative strategy, which is to remove ourselves from dependence to interdependence. Your Excellency, the building behind you, there is a library section, and then there is a commercial wing, which this commercial wing will help in earning some revenue for the KNLS. That's why we are going in a transformative strategy, not necessarily to depend so much on government or on treasury. Your Excellency, I want to say that library attendance is about 7 million users and are served by KNLS annually. I want to thank the KNLS staff for patience and endurance. I want to appreciate donors and donors of books and other library programs. I want to thank the government through the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Heritage for their continued support. Your Excellency, we are very proud of this project because right from the word concept to the designing and to the building, this project, Your Excellency, was done by Kenyans. So it's a Kenyan project, and we are all very proud for it because it is something which has not been done with the concept that there is. I'm sure, Your Excellency, you have been explained kwamba their philosophy is a philosophy of drums. Drums which are used in the African context for anything, where there is celebration, where there is any situation where people are supposed to get together. The sound before, it was the sound of drums. So here, sir, these drums is to bring all of us together as a country so that we can be proud of our unity and our being together as Kenyans. So these drums are there for us to make use of them so that we can be able to benefit from this. Your Excellency, kuna msemo wa Kiswahili unaosema hayawi hayawi huwa. Na hii manake, Your Excellency, ni kwamba muda ambayo umechukua to finish this project, labda there were other people who were saying this project is not going to complete. That's why we are saying kwa Kiswahili hayawi hayawi huwa. It is possible to finish projects like this.
We also have the section for persons living with disabilities, where books and other materials are available in different formats, from braille, audio books, and large print books. Ladies and gentlemen, legend has it that Abdul Qasim Ismail, who lived AD 938 to 995, and who became the Grand Vizier of Persia, was an avid reader and was so enthralled with literature and learning that he never left home without his personal library. The 400 camel caravan carried 117,000 books and was more than a mile long. Today we have come a long way since then, and while our thirst for learning and reading has not abated, we can now easily access more than the 117,000 books through a simple tablet or computer. In this context, an important part of this library project is to ensure that all Kenyans, wherever they are, have access to reading materials. The elaborate ICT infrastructure within the facility will facilitate community access to online information and also connect them to the rest of the world. And in this regard, my government, through the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage, and the Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund, is going to implement a 2-year Kenya shillings 250 million project that is focused on establishing the Kenya National Library Services virtual library facility. This virtual library will ensure that Kenyans of all walks of life will have access to quality, timely and relevant information held by the Kenya National Library from the comfort of their homes. The virtual library, which we intend to launch by June of next year, will have a capacity for 15 million publications, and the first phase will digitize 800,000 books, periodicals, research papers, and government publications, and it will also contain 600,000 e-books which are currently accessible offline through the e-readers across 63 Kenya National Library Service branches countrywide. Maktaba is therefore not just a building. It is a place that enables us to understand our past and the contributions made by our forefathers. It is also an ever-broadening platform from which we can build on existing knowledge to address our current and future societal challenges. I want to thank all the
completion of this project is the result of exceptional dedication under your leadership and from yourself to deliver on our collective commitment to provide a state-of-the-art public repository of information and knowledge for the people of our country. Your Excellency, though we spent many nights here during the past 12 months, racing against your targeted completion date because you gave us a deadline to complete this, and we're very grateful that we had that deadline because it allowed us to work very, very quickly. We also had a lot of support, Your Excellency, from our Head of Public Service, Dr. Joseph Kinyua. Every time we went to him for support, he was ready to offer it and give the right directives to everybody who needed to give us the resources that we needed to complete this building. We'll continue to build upon what you'll unveil, Your Excellency, here today to create an institution of public operation that will endure as a yardstick in designing future public spaces, wholly responsive and adaptive to the needs of the public. Your Excellency, this facility is intergenerational space. It will stimulate engagement between and across generations in its various chambers as a valued place for dialogic intellectual advancement. It captures the soul of our culture and heritage in its architectural spirit, which recognizes our heroes and our heroines as the forebearers of our national stories and interwoven identities. It's my hope that Kenyans will be proud of this facility. Its usage will be our regard. Your Excellency, as I told you just a little bit earlier, during the weekends and during the holidays, all our public libraries are fully utilized. And that gives us a lot of pride because it tells us that Kenyans actually love reading and that they will use the space that we have created for them.
And we want to continue with these kind of projects and programs. This is what we're doing here today with this library. And I hope that we shall be able to do more together as Kenyans to develop, to promote our culture, our art, to be able to develop the talents of our people in fashion. This creates pride and it creates identity, so that we're not at the end of the day swallowed up by the Calvin Kleins and I don't know all these also funny things that actually mean nothing to you except from what you read on social media. Let us promote our culture. Let us learn our culture. Let us understand. That way we shall become truly Kenyan and proud to be Kenyan, as opposed to being assimilated into cultures that maybe have no long-term value or use, not only for ourselves, but even for our children. Let me just say how delighted I am to be here at this historic inauguration of the United Nations Nairobi Hospital Treatment Facility, which is a result of a strategic and timely partnership between the United Nations, the Nairobi Hospital, and the government of Kenya. Indeed, I am aware that this important achievement was led by you, Director General, and your team in Nairobi with support from the UN headquarters in New York. And I want to say to all of you, congratulations for a job well done. Asante sana. Well done. I also wish to record on behalf of the Kenyan government, on my own behalf, and indeed on behalf of the people of Kenya, our sincere gratitude to our friend, the United Nations Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, his focused and visionary leadership in the affirmation of our rule-based and collective multilateral diplomacy continues to realize results for the world, even during this difficult time in history. With the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, I recognize the urgent need to initiate targeted population health interventions, which would ensure that Kenya remains a functional and reliable location for United Nations operations. And I reached out to the UN Secretary General and sought his support for the construction of a medical facility to cater for the United Nations staff. Mr. Guterres responded swiftly and boldly to mobilize resources and facilitate this construction, equipping and staffing of the facility, and for this I remain profoundly grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, this facility is a monument to the transformative power of collective global action. This is not a field hospital. It is a fully fledged hospital with facilities from laboratories and operating theaters, projected to last more than 25 years. The facility, as we've been told, constitutes 100-bed medical facility, including 15 intensive care units, 45 high dependency units, and a 40-ward hospital. The treatment facility has state-of-the-art medical equipment, including a machine there which I don't know how to pronounce, called ECMO, which I believe is the only one in East and Central Africa, which provides indispensable support for hearts, lungs, and critical care patients. This facility, I believe, will serve as a showcase for the United Nations in Africa and globally. It will cater for the United Nations staff and their families, the entire diplomatic community in Kenya, and augment the health capacity in Kenya. It will also be accessible to all Kenyans even after the pandemic is eliminated, and will in future be used to treat other infectious diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, a project of this magnitude completed within a brief period of 3 months is no mean achievement. And I want to congratulate the United Nations office at Nairobi, the Nairobi Hospital, and indeed our own staff in the government of Kenya, all who ensured that the facility was completed in record time. This achievement enables us to celebrate the triumph of the human spirit and the collective will when confronted with a shared crisis. My administration stands ready to work with the United Nations family and indeed other members of the international community, including those who are represented here today, to make Nairobi the premium and preferred destination for healthcare services, as well as specialized and emergency medical evacuation for staff in the global multilateral system, including the United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, this first-class facility with its advanced technological capacity and a convenient strategic location reinforces Nairobi as the United Nations Medevac Center in the Southern Hemisphere.